What's up guys, Steve again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Second video for this awesome GOM rock buggy kit. This is a plus kit. It comes with an additional parts, all that kind of stuff. I showed that in the previous video. Go check that out if you want, just a quick unboxing. But we're going to start building this kit. First up here we have to make the front and rear differentials. Now it says here on the top you have to make 2 of each of these. So I've got all the parts nicely laid out there. Using my nice Team Fast Eddy grease. You can use any grease you want. You can use marine grease as well if you want to run it through water. But I have all the parts here. Start going through all of these and I'll start putting them together and I'll show you the step by step in between. But yeah, let's get going. I like having everything kind of set out, ready to go. Let's get cracking. So first up here we got our little input shaft here, and then we get our 13 tooth bevel gear. Lock it off with a 2.5mm E-ring. Put yourself over a 10 by 15 by 4 ball bearing, just like that, so it spins. And then we get, this is your differential housing. They're identical, so basically you slide this end in, kind of line everything up, push it in there like that, and then you lock it off on the other side with a 15 by 11 by 4mm bearing, just like that. That's it. So you're going to obviously make 2 of them, and then got to get your axle housing, this guy right here, and then you just line it all up like that and screw it down. And they use 3x10 wrench bolts. That's it, make 2 of those. But there it is there. That's that first step done. That's what you're left with. Pretty simple. Next up we're going to be making the actual differential case. Basically you get your differential case. These are identical, the diff locker on either side. Slide it into those grooves. Get your gasket, just like that, and then you get your bevel gear and line it all up and send it home. Now you've got to use these 2x8mm wrench bolts for all those, and that's it. And on either end here, you use your 10 by 15 by 4mm bearings. And once that's done, like any typical diff, you're going to slide that into there and cap it off with 2 of these bearing caps. I'll put all those in, I'll show you, and obviously you're going to grease it up, and that's that. There we go. You put it all up as much as you want. It's not really going to hurt. We just want to pack the hell out of it, but this is all I do. I'm going to get this flat blade, hold razor, and I just kind of run it around the edge there. That's it. Obviously if you put more in there, it's just going to, it's going to waterproof. It depends on what you use. If you use marine grease and all that kind of stuff, it can only go one way, just like this. That's it, like butter. That's it. Now we're just going to get these are called bearing caps, and they just sit in there, and we're locking them with 2x8 wrench bolts. And then what we can do, once that's all on, I get the pumpkin here. There we go there. Sorry, I lock these away with 3x8 round heads, and then we use the wrench bolts to lock all that is, and that's the front and rear diff done. There we go. Both of them are made. Jump to step 4, which is this called an axle truss. Here's one without it, and basically just sits on top of here and ties everything together. Now, it's got to make sure when you put this guy on, it sits on there like that. It's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing they've got to take note of is these 2 screws up here are longer, and there's a shorter one. So the longer one, see, it's got more thread. It goes in this one up here, and they're both countersunk, and the shorter one goes the other side. Pretty self-explanatory. It says it in the manual there. But that's it. Put those all together, and we can move on to the next step. Now in step 5 we're going to be concentrating on the front axle alone. So we need to be getting these are called C-hub carriers. So if you're looking, this is facing the back and that's facing the front. This is obviously the right one here. When you're looking at an angle like this, and the top plate should be level, you should have about 10 degrees. The C-hub should be facing backwards, and that's easy to do. So what happens, you get a bearing 5x11 by 4mm, and then you get, this is your left C-hub carrier, and you see on the back here there's a line there. So that line, well, that line has to match up with the middle line here, so it's pretty simple. Roughly like, well, not roughly, exactly like this. Slide it on, and now you'll see if this is level, the C-hub carrier is on a 10-degree angle facing backwards. That's all it is. You can always double check that that line is pretty much in the center of that circle, and the same on the right side there. So once that's all done, we get our 10, these are like 10mm grub screws, and you screw them from the front in like that. Don't over tighten them, because if you do over tighten them, you can puncture through the other side. It always tells you little exclamation mark type of things. If you go too deep, it's not always a good thing. You come through the other side there, and that's it. And what's cool now, because this is the plus kit, with the plus kit you get a little extra bag like I showed in the unboxing plus kit, and we'll be needing the CVD axles just here. They give you extra turning, like a greater turning radius as well. But when you open the plus kit, it's got its own instruction manual, and it tells you, for example, for here it says page 13, step 6, 7, and on page 14, 8, to replace the current ones, the current axles, with the new ones, and it gives you its own little instruction manual what to do for that as well. So that's cool. So that's it. So nice. So it's a CVA kit. Okay, I made the CVAs off camera. Super easy, nothing special there. And now obviously they come in two different lengths because the axle is shorter and longer on one side. Very easy. It's got an insert in there, and it's got to mate up with the actual diff that we made earlier. I put a little bit of grease on the end there. You don't need to, but I do, just in case. And it's got to kind of rotate it a bit until you feel that click in, and that's it. And once that's pushed in, you know it's all connected. As you can see the input or the output shaft, sorry, turning. There we go. Just like that. Now I'll do the other side, and then we can actually assemble the steering knuckles. So the steering knuckles with the basic kit come with plastic knuckle bushings, but when you get this extra kit, it comes with these brass steering knuckle bushings, so I'll put those in. So there is your brass steering knuckle bushings. So you put the left and right one on, and pay attention they face forward because the steering rod goes in front of the housing there. And because this is the upgraded kit, we don't need to do this step. You got to insert that little rubber O-ring to make up the gap, but we don't need to do that. We just skip that. But we need to install the left and right knuckles, so we'll screw them down with some 10mm bolts, and then we can actually install some of the other brackets or the link mounts onto the axle. Alright, there we go. So I have the link mounts just here on either side, and also I went ahead and put on the pan hard axle mount just there. One thing to note is when you update to these new and improved or CVA shafts, the steering angle increases from stock drive shaft is I think 30 degrees, and the CVA kit makes it 45 degrees, so you get a lot more steering angle. And what's funny, I mean, further on in the kit it tells you to cut off a little part it's a stopper, but I don't think you need to cut it off because I can't see that actual part they need to cut off here. It seems maybe that's an additional, like an older piece or something, but on this one it goes all the way and it actually stops up here. So, and I measured it with an angle, so that's 45 degrees. So anyway, moving back to where we are, I will install the rear drive shafts, or the rear axles, sorry, just here, and put on the put in some ball bearings and straight axle adapter it's called, and then move on to attaching those link mounts. That's pretty boring, and then we'll get to the transfer case. Rear axle all done, locked and loaded. That part is all finished. Now we are starting on the transfer case. I just done this off camera, nothing too fancy. That's the shifting fork just there, so we need one of those, and we started on this particular gear here. Now it's got different size bearings. It's got 5 by 11 by 4 4 and also 6 by 12 by 4, so the large ones go in this gear just like that, and this shifts like that and locks into this particular gear. Pretty easy, nothing fancy, but that is that, and just pay attention to the direction that you need to put them in. Pretty self-explanatory. Flip them over this way, and now we'll go to these larger gears. And also with the Pro kit, you actually have some more bearings that you use, I believe, in here. Page 19. Instead of using the bushes, just here, you use the bearings. So page 19, step 18, and page 22, step 24, you use the bearings that's applied in the Plus kit. But got all these parts ready. Nice, and like these are all 1-to-1, so you just line them up like that to find out all the parts you need. So we get the transfer output front shaft, some ball bearings, and put it all together. We can't forget the grease, but I'll do that off camera, and I'll put them all in here, and then we'll see the final step. There we go, all lubed up. It's funny, this gear here, the transfer case gear, is just floating around in there, but as you get to step 18, you kind of sandwich it away with more ball bearings, and this is a Plus kit. It takes away one of the bushings that are in here, so it says 1, 2 and 3 just here. It's kind of hard to do on camera, but this is what I mean. Just here, so normally you'd have the bearing, bushing the bearing. Now this one you have just 3 bearings, so I'll put that together and move on. There we go there, all nice and set up. Use 4 screws to lock it all together, and obviously this is going to be a shaft in here later, but I'll just show you, put it in here. It's nice. So it's got high, low and a dig setup. So the transmission is very similar. I'm not going to do that as well on camera. It's all the same stuff, shifting forks, plastic gears, casings, all that kind of stuff. So I'll get up to here and I'll show you how that looks, because I don't want to keep the videos too long. So let's have a look. And there we go there. All locked and loaded. Good thing about the Plus kit, you get this really nice aluminium adjustable motor mount, and it's just here, gives you really clear instructions to, if you change opinion, what hole you need to use. So it's all stock as it is, using this Hakmoto V2 45 turn brushed crawler motor. I was going to get the system out of the other Jeep, but I thought I'll just leave it as is and see how this goes. But that's it, everything is buttoned up, ready to rock and roll. I think I might leave this particular video, doesn't make it get too long, but coming up we have to do the upper link rods. I'm going to do them already because they're super simple, nothing to those, so I'm going to put those together, so in the next video we are ready to go. If you want to see my previous video with the Buffalo, I showed you a bit of that, but nothing too crazy. I've got to put all that together and we'll start it up here at the skid plate, I guess. But if you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up. If you have this kit, let me know what you think of it, what mods you've done, and I'll be interested to know what do you think of it. But it looks really cool. It's gone together really easily. I wasn't expecting anything less actually, so it's really nice quality. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't, please subscribe, give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.